everyone, it's Mrs. Martinez with Martinez Art Lab. Today I'm going to show you how to create a Tim Burton style drawing using Google Drawings. So right now I'm in my Google Drive. If you're not there yet, this icon will take you to your Google Drive. Once you click on that, you'll see this and whatever you have in your Google Drive. I'm going to click on New, More, and Google Drawings. This will take me to my new Google drawing page where we're going to draw our portrait. The very first thing you do is click on Untitled Drawing. You are going to type your full name and then you are going to type the title of the project. So we are doing a Tim Burton style portrait. So we will type that in, click off to the side, and now as it's set up here, it's saved to the drive. So everything we do from this point on is going to save to our drive. If I need to find this project, I'm going to go in my Google Drive by clicking that little icon I showed you at the beginning, or I can search for this title to find this project. So now that we're in here, the first thing I'm going to do is make a frame for my drawings. So I will click on the shape icon and then I will go to shapes and I will choose a rectangle. I'm going to go to the very corner of my drawing space, which is this checkerboard page. I'm going to click and drag and then release my click when my rectangle takes up my whole page. Now I need to change the color. So I will go to this bucket called the fill color, and that will choose the color of my rectangle. This bucket only shows up if you have your shape selected, and you select objects with this black select arrow just by clicking on them. So I will change the color by clicking on that fill color, and I will change my background color to black, and then I will click off to the side and I will go back up to my shape icon and choose the rectangle again and draw a second rectangle. I'm going to move in a little bit and I'm going to click and drag to make my rectangle. And now that I've made my rectangle, I will change the color. Tim Burton has a kind of spooky drawing style, so I'm going to choose a darker color and I will choose just kind of a dark purple. I'll click off to the side, and now I'm ready to get started and draw my portrait. Tim Burton has a very distinctive style, so everything that he's drawing has these really elongated features. An elongated face, so tall and skinny, and really large eyes, really large features. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to try and use my shape tool as much as I can. So I will go to the shape icon again, shapes, and I'm going to look for a shape that I think I could change and move around into a face. So let's go for this teardrop shape. And I'm going to click and drag, and this is going to make my shape, and I can kind of move it around. I haven't released my click yet. Okay, and I will release my click. Now the problem is I want this shape, but I need it moved around. So watch my mouse carefully as I move this up to this top circle and it changes to that cursor. So when I click and drag, and remember it has to have that cursor, clicking and dragging and moving that shape to where I'd like it. And if I need to move it again, I just do the same thing. Go to that circle, but I need to go right over the circle so my cursor changes to that plus sign and click and drag to wherever I'd like it. Now, I didn't want to do that, so whenever you make a mistake, go up to this arrow, and it is your undo arrow. So it will change or take away whatever mistake you've accidentally made. Now, I also want to kind of squish together my shape. So and watch my mouse carefully again, when I go over any of these boxes, my arrow will change to that, and I can click and drag to kind of squish together my shape if I like to. So my arrow just changed, and I will click, drag, and I went off my page, click, drag, and release. okay? And I can do the same at any of those shapes. So click and drag, and then I will click and drag. And you can see it's kind of making this weird kind of squished, altered shape, right? And it can be a little crooked, or I will leave it as is, and I will kind of click off to the side so no shapes are selected. The next thing that's typical of a Tim Burton style portrait here is I'm going to have a long skinny neck, and I'm going to show my shoulders. So before I do that, I just want to point out his faces are also these very, again, tall and skinny shapes, and they definitely don't look like a realistic drawing of a person. So here's the shape of my face. I'm going to go to shapes, and I'm going to use a rectangle to draw my neck, and I'm going to click and drag, and I want it to be, I'm going to take it right to the bottom of my frame, and I'm going to kind of click off to the side. Now, a couple things. I do know that I do not want my skin to be this color, so I'm going to change it eventually, and I'll change the skin all at once. So well, actually, this will be our skin. So I will click on this shape, and I will go to my fill color, and I'm going to change it to kind of, let's do a very, very pale green. Okay, these do not have to be realistic colors. Since it's a skin tone, I'm going to keep it a little bit lighter so that I can add a whole bunch of details that we can see. I'll click on my other shape, and I will click on that same really pale green. When I click off to the side, though, you can see there's a big black line. That's because I have an outline on this that I don't want there. So I will click back on that shape. This color fills in a shape. This color is the outline of the shape. So I will click on that shape, or that pencil, which is the border color, and I will click transparent. Transparent will get that to be a transparent outline, so no more black line anymore. So I will click on this shape and make sure that that shape also has a transparent outline. So now I've got the neck and the head, the face for my portrait, and now I need to get some shoulders in. So let me go back to my shapes and see if there's any shape that I can manage that. And it looks like this round cornered rectangle will let me do that. So I will click and drag and make sure that line meets up to the bottom of my frame. And then I can click off to the side to kind of check my shape. I want to move it, so when I click on it, I can just kind of click and drag to move it to wherever I'd like it to be. I also would like to take away that outline. So I will click that border and click transparent, and then I'm going to change the color. So I've got a green face and a purple background. So why don't I pick kind of a dark, deep blue? Okay, and I can change my colors wherever I need to. I don't know that I really like those rounded corners, so I might end up changing that. But for now, we're going to leave it as is. I'm going to start adding my features. So I'll click on shapes again, and I will click on a circle. Now, Tim Burton's eyes are always huge. So I'm going to click and drag till I get some really large eyes. And I'm going to click and drag to move it over. And now I want to copy this so I have the same size eyes. So I'm going to go back up to edit and copy, and then edit and paste. And now I have two shapes, and I'm going to click and drag to move those shapes to the same spot. You can see they're not really centered, and that's, again, kind of his style. So I'm going to leave it as is, but I need to change the colors of my eyes and turn them into real eyes. So I'm going to take away the outline by clicking on border color and transparent, and then I'm going to click and turn them white. So I'll click on that one. I will change the border color to transparent, change the fill color to white. And I've got some eyes happening here. I'm going to click back on circles, and I will add a pupil. So I will change the fill color to black, and then I will copy and paste, and then I will move that just kind of to a different spot on the eye. And then let's see what else I could do to my eyes right now. I think that let's change these to brown, and or like kind of a, they do not have a good brown here. So I'm going to go ahead and make my own. So I will pick the color closest to what I want. Actually, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to click on that, click the border color, transparent, click on that, border color, transparent, change that to the same brown, and then I need to add my pupils. So I was actually adding the iris the first time around. So I will click the circle again and add my pupils. Those need to be black. And I will edit and copy, and then edit and paste. So just a reminder while you all are following me on this, remember, I have worked with this before. I know this program really well, and so it seems like I'm kind of just rushing through, right? It's because I'm used to it and I know what I'm doing. I've had lots of practice. If you are new to this program or you've only used it a couple times, you're not going to go as quickly as me, and that's totally okay. Just make sure that while you're working on this, you pause the video, you stop the video, you rewind the video, do what you need to do to make sure that you can get through this project, okay? And if you get frustrated, set it down, walk away for a minute, come back when you are ready to start again. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and add a mouth. So I'm going to choose a heart shape for my lips. So I would click and drag. Your Tim Burton's mouths are usually tiny, and I'm going to show that by showing a, let's do kind of a pinkish, not totally red. And I want it transparent. So that's the start of my mouth. And I want to kind of squish that a little bit. I don't want to make it a perfect heart. Okay, so we'll click off to the side so you can see it. And you see I'm always going back to this black arrow. If I ever need to change a shape, I click that black arrow and then I'll click the shape, and that allows me to change the shape. Now I'm going to use a new tool, and I'm going to use the line tool. When I click on that and I click on my drawing, it'll make a line. And now I will go right on those circles and click and drag to move my line wherever I would like it. So I'm going to move by clicking and dragging. I'm going to put that line right in the middle of my lips. So that's the start of my mouth. I want to make that line a little bit thicker. So I will go to this line weight. It's these lines icon. I'll click and I'll click the number 3. And then I'll click off to the side to see. That looks about right. So I'm going to leave it as is. Now I'm going to go to this line tool. And when I click on this drop down, I've got a lot of options. And I'm going to click on Scribble. Scribble is exactly how it sounds. So I can draw my own lines with this tool. So I want to go ahead and kind of just scribble in some eyebrows. And again, they look kind of silly, right? This is the style of his drawing. So that's a great part. I'm going to make them a little bit thicker. And I will click on the same one and make it a little bit thicker. Okay. And here's the part where I'm just kind of adding details. So I've added these details. I think I actually want to change those back to black. So remember, you can go back to any shape and just click on it to change it. So I actually think I like the way that looks. And I will just keep going. A nose in, and I'll use that scribble tool again just by clicking on it because that's already selected. And I just want to kind of scribble in a nose. I'll make it a little bit thicker and click off to the select arrow and click off to the side. So I like what I'm seeing so far. Now I need to add some hair, and I can add some details to the background. Since this is a spooky portrait, I can go ahead and add some spooky things. So before I go off the face and add the hair, I'm going to just add kind of a cut on the face, because remember, it's a spooky portrait. So I just kind of scribbled a line. I'll make it thicker, and then I will go in back to that scribble tool, and I will draw some lines right on top of it so it looks kind of like a stitch. Okay, and then I will go back to my scribble tool, and I can decide now if I want to use scribbles for my hair or if I want to use some shapes. So let me go ahead and look at some of the shapes and see if I'd like to use those. I feel like I am going to click on this shape, and I will click and drag. And now I know that I'm going to need to move it. So remember, to move a shape, I'm going to go up to the circle. I'm going to click and drag until my shape is where I want it. And I will click and drag to move my shape. And I'm going to move my shape by going right over one of those squares, clicking and dragging to make it just a little bit wider. Okay, and now I'm going to change that color by clicking the fill color. I'll change it to dark green. I'll click off to the side. So I've got kind of like a little hat happening. Now I'm going to add some hair, and I think I'm going to use my scribble tool to do that. And my scribble tool, I'm going to go ahead and try and create kind of like, I'm going to just scribble, okay? So I just made a scribble kind of curly wavy line. I will click the line weight, and I will make that really thick. I'm going to change it to a 12, and then I'm going to click edit and copy. And then I'm going to go to edit and paste, and that just repeated my line. And I'm going to do that a few times. So edit, paste, edit, paste, edit, paste, and edit, paste. So I made a whole bunch of hair. Now I'm going to use my select tool, and I'm going to move those by clicking and dragging. And then I'm going to move each shape by going and actually clicking and dragging to move the shape. And then I can make the shapes longer, or I can squish them together to create lots of different curls. So I'm going to click and drag on every shape I want to move. So now it looks like I hand drew each of these shapes when really I did not, right? When really I made one shape, and now I'm just kind of, and I copied it, and now I'm just kind of moving it around, okay? So I'm going to click and drag, and I will add one more to this side, again, flipping it, and all I'm doing is clicking and dragging to make my hair. Okay. So click off to the side. So there's one side of my hair. I'm going to finish this up by clicking and dragging some of these off so I can see. And then I will move these around, and I will change the shapes, and then I will flip this one. And remember, if you make a mistake or accidentally move a shape, just go to this undo button, and you can click it as many times as you need to. Whoops, like I just did. So I will undo. I want to make sure I select the right shape there. And then, all right. So I've got some crazy hair going on right now. And I have this black outline on my hat, which I don't like. So I'm going to click on it and go to my border color and click transparent, click off to the side. Let me look at my hat here. I actually don't know that I like it. So I'm going to click it and I'm going to press backspace on my computer. And now I'm going to add a scribble curl at the top. So I'll click back on my scribble tool and I will just scribble hair right in. Because I went right over my eyebrows, I know I'm going to have to move it. So I will click on line weight and I will click 12. And now I'm going to click on my select arrow and just kind of squish my curl together. Okay, got to the side. I'm going to do one more scribble to kind of fill in that space. So I will scribble right there. And now I'll make my line thicker. And I will use my selection arrow to widen my curl and move it up just a little. Okay, now if I want to add more curls, I could do that. If I want to move things around, I could. If I want to add more stitches, I could. I will go ahead and add in a spider. And I will build a spider by drawing a circle. Let's see. I think a spider has two parts, right? So it has the body of the spider, and then it also has the head of the spider. So I'll put them on top of each other. I hope that's right, guys. I might be wrong on the anatomy of the spider, but now I'm going to use I could use my scribble line. Let's go ahead and use that, and I'm going to add 8 legs. And I will change the border weight each time I do that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I feel like that is not a correctly drawn spider, so you may need to correct me on that, but I could draw a spider web. Let's go ahead and draw a quick spider web. I'll use my scribble line again. And again, this is a very cartoony style, so it absolutely does not need to look perfect. In fact, we don't want it to, which is why I'm using this scribble style. I want it to look like it is, again, not perfect, okay? So I'm drawing these lines that look kind of messy, right? That is the purpose of this drawing. We want it to be spooky and cartoony and just like it is, just like we're seeing. Okay, so let me finish my corner spider web up here. Okay, and okay, so there we go. We have a spider web in the corner, we have a spider on the side, and we have a Tim Burton style portrait on my Google Drawings page. Now, to submit this, remember when you go in the classroom, you're going to see on the assignment, you're going to go to View Assignment, and then you will see a button that says Add or Create. You will click that and submit this file directly from your Google Drive. Have fun doing your Tim Burton style portrait.